Hey guys, Merry Christmas. Hope everybody's having a good holiday so far. I plan on making this one a fairly quick one. I really wasn't even going to do one tonight. Been spending a lot of time with family and stuff today. And as well we all should, you know. But a couple things been going on, and so we're going to talk about it real quick. And, hopefully we'll get back to doing what we're doing. And hope everybody can stick around here. I'm not sure if Ron's in here right now, but I seen Ron. I just texted you a few minutes ago. I seen you called me. I'm sorry I missed your call. Obviously, I was spending time with family. I didn't have my phone, with me. But I had it with me. I just didn't have the ringer turned on. Sorry I missed you, bud. But Merry Christmas to you, man. I'll try to get back with you here in the next day or so. And we will we'll hook up and do something together if we need to, and if you want to, if you're willing, and we'll do something like that. When I got on here and looked, we got some earthquake stuff going on, so I was curious. Maybe that's why Ron was giving me a call. I'm not sure. But anyway, we'll say hi to everybody. Hey Ricky, E-Rock Tab, good to see you guys in here. Thanks for modding for me. E-Rock G513 in the hizzy. All up in it. Ricky's number one here today. That's yeah, there you go. Get the number one up in there. Jacqueline, Darcy, the Hoppers, Toluca, Amos Black, Rob the Rebel. That's right, bud. Hey, what's up, man? You're over at Mark's a lot, aren't you, bud? You're here too a lot, obviously. Kathy, G, Jason, Douglas D, Amir, Stefan, Queen, Mary, Penny. Good to see you guys. Merry Christmas, everybody. Heather, Scan, Marie, what's up? Darcy, you already said hi to you, I think. Jason, Andy. Well, I hope everybody's having, if I missed anybody, I am sorry. But, that is, is what it is. Hope everybody is having a good one. George, what's up? Art, Dale, Jason. But before we get going here, obviously, guys, here is this. I'll put this down here one time, and I won't talk about it no more. It's my PayPal link. If you want to help me, great. That's cool. If not, nothing's ever expected, guys, okay? Never, ever. And I just want to say thanks to everybody else that's, donated. And also, thanks to those guys that pushed me to even do that. It made me see a whole different side of things. It really did. I kind of realized how much time and stuff I was putting into this, and it's quite a bit of time. And it's not. I don't do it for this PayPal thing at all, ever. You guys know that. But just know it's there if you guys want to help, and it's appreciated. So, Merry Christmas to you guys, and we're gonna get moving on here. Hey, Daniel, what's up? Angelo. I'll be going over to Mark's after this too. Is this live on YouTube or a rebroadcast? No. This is live, Lindy. This isn't a premiere. So, Angelo Axe, what's up? Merry Christmas, north of the border there, bud. Merry Christmas to you, Nacho, if you're listening. If you're both in there on the same account, maybe. Christine, good to see you. Good to see you. I know you did, Christine, and thank you. You guys really did. If it wasn't for you guys pushing me to do that, I never would have. That's just something I wouldn't have done. And to be honest with you, I was pretty judgmental towards a lot of people that did. And I seen a whole lot of different ends of that really, at the end of the day, we all got to understand that I do take time out of my own life and my family's life for this. And if I get help from it, I'm not going to turn it away like I used to. That's just what it is, it does help me. It does take some of my stress away, and I appreciate it. So, yep, Merry Christmas, Shalom, right back at you. Happy Hanukkah to everybody else out there that celebrates that, and obviously Kwanzaa and all the other holidays that everybody else does around this time of year. I want everybody just to have a good, just a good season, Okay, so we're just going to get into this. And now, listen, guys, these spikes are nothing to, just bat an eye out and move around here. That's a significant one there. And so is this. Now, we had another one back here a few days ago that was very similar to this, but it was around that volcanic eruption, Kilauea, in Hawaii. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate that, man. Mark, good to see you, bud. Angelo holding it down in the Bronx for me. Douglas D, that's right. Happy New Year, baby. That's coming too. Heck yeah. Daniel's in the hizzy. So here we go. So we got, like I said, guys, these spiking. If you're having ringing in your ears, if you're kind of moody today, it's not just because all your grandkids and your kids are up your butt about some presents. It could be this. Just saying. But as we get moving here, obviously this is spaceweather.com. Now, Prediction Center, I'm sorry. Notice that, we were talking about this possible geomagnetic storm that was, could have been happening. It never materialized. Okay? But I was looking just on someone that you see my thumbnail. That just happened just a few minutes ago, a few hours ago. And it happened right about the time that earthquake popped. And we're gonna look at that in just a second. Notice how we kind of almost got into storm level back here on the 23rd like they said we were going to. And then things kind of calmed down. And this is typical, guys. Even though they predict, they're not really even saying it's 100% we're going to get into the storm level. That's why they call it a watch. Now, if it's a warning, they're saying that we're going to get into that. They think it's almost close to 100%. Okay? Now, a watch is different. It's just like a thunderstorm watch. You got your levels there, right? You got thunderstorm watch, thunderstorm warning, tornado watch, tornado warning. And then now they've even got another one that a lot of people aren't even aware of. They call it a tornado emergency. You know what that means? Just a little side note here. That actually means that there is a significant tornado on the ground. And if you don't go seek shelter, they're telling you that you will most likely die. You will see some severe things happen. In other words, there is like an F3 or bigger tornado on the ground coming your way, and they're most likely seeing what they call a debris signature on the radars now too that they can pick up. That means that this tornado could hit, it's picked up debris, and the radar's picking it up. That means it's doing damage. Not right now, Marie. Nothing right now. No tornadoes here. I'm just explaining the storm levels. Maybe I should move on. I don't want to confuse people. So, hey, Hilly, how you doing, bud? Merry Christmas, man. Hope you guys are having a good one over there. Okay, so as we move on, Hilly, you still going to do your show on Saturday? Just curious. That way we can tell everybody you're going to. But anyway, guys, we got this right here. This is the first look at the sun. Notice how the sunspots on the north now have kind of closed up a little bit. All the way, really. You got the northern coronal hole, but it's there. It's still there. That doesn't ever go away. Sometimes it will stretch down, and that's what we connect to a lot. But we got this one here. It's right in front of these sunspots. Okay, cool, Hilly. Everybody should check it out. Hilly, please drop your link in there so everybody can see your channel there, man. But anyway, you got this going on here, and yeah, that's what I'm saying, Scan. That's why I bring that up. That's a new level that they've added. They added that past the tornado warning. Now, warning means that conditions are likely that you are seeing those conditions. Now, they usually go in. Most of us know this, but for people that don't know, they usually will tell you if it's radar indicated or not. For me, it doesn't matter if they say tornado warning. I'm taking cover. Okay, but some people really want to know. Was it radar indicated or did they see it on the ground? Because it does make a difference, I have to admit. But at the same time, when they say it's radar indicated, what they're looking at are the velocity radar signatures. And when you get the red and the green right next to each other on those signatures, that means you got wind blowing away and blowing towards the radar site that close to each other, which indicates a vortex or a circular signature there. The wind's circling. It's a vortex. Okay, now whether that's on the ground or not, they can't really tell you that until it, unless it picks up debris and all that kind of stuff. Now they can also tell the speed with that. But anyway, that's a thunderstorm. That's a weather lesson, I guess. But if you ever hear the word tornado emergency for your location, you do what you have to do to get underground. That's all I'll say. Because guys, I've just seen so many bad things. It's bad. If they say emergency, that they're not kidding. That's not a joke. So, we'll move on. Anyway, and I say that because you want to know why? We get a second, a lot of people don't know this, but we get a second tornado season in November. That kind of probably shocks a few people, but that's the truth. And if you guys were watching any kind of weather, the past week or so, they were getting tornadoes in Louisiana and Alabama and stuff just the other day. So, yeah. Well, December 11th, were there tornadoes then? I don't know. Not in my area there weren't, but if there were, that would be a true statement. It would have been underreported. I didn't even hear about it. So that's kind of what I'm saying. We have to understand that there's a second tornado season. It's the last 2 weeks of November, I think. I remember a lot of times here, even here in Indiana, getting tornado warnings and stuff around Thanksgiving. So yeah, everything is underreported for sure. For sure, Ricky. Right on. Hey, peace back at you, David. So yeah, I just think if you guys ever hear that word tornado emergency, please, guys, don't just kind of like kick that to the side. It just wouldn't be the right thing to do, especially if you got family with you. But anyway, back to space weather. We got this density right here that's kind of hanging around the normal. Back at you, Vintage. Merry Christmas. Then you got the speed here, guys. This is really where the story's at. We got solar wind speed is increased. Okay? We talk about what's normal, and it's usually between 3 and 500. Well, everything's above normal right now. It's elevated. But, we're not really seeing a whole lot of, but I'm going to show you a pretty decent hit on our magnetosphere. But then you got the temperature here kind of hanging right around normal. Now, we've been talking about the validity of this. Somebody dropped a great comment, and there is a difference on how these things report the speed and the density. I'm not going to go into the details of that right now because it does take some explaining to do. I will have to take some time to do it, but I'm not going to do that tonight. But just know that when they show you the solar wind speed over here, it's a little bit different than what they're doing over here. Okay? And I'll explain to that later. But for the most part, though, when this thing is showing a specific thing, it's been off. Like this right here, guys. I want you guys to look at this. I look at this, and if I was to see that on any other day than what we're seeing right now, do you guys understand what that is? That's the top of the graph here. The top of the key. That's black. Okay? So what that means is it doesn't get any faster than that on this graph. There's no other color to go higher. So, if we play this, watch what happens. I'll let it load here. So as we look at this, you're seeing, not much going on. Now, this is speed down here, guys. This is a top-down view of our inner solar system. That's the sun, that's Earth, that's stereo A. Don't even worry about stereo B up here. But as we go there, now see what's happened here? It's not like that. So I don't know what's happening here. I'm wondering if that was just a tool flaw of some sort, a glitch. I don't know. But what I can say here, it's not saying that now. So this thing does this all the time, and I just don't like the way that it does that, because it's caused us to predict things that doesn't happen sometimes. A lot of time. And that's why I've kind of backed off of that one for a minute. Now this is the aurora. Obviously, even with the hit we took a few hours ago, we'll take a look at this anyway. When we get geomagnetic activity, this will spike. Okay, and remember, this is historic. So this is the most recent capture, and we can back up. We'll go backwards. Okay, so if you look at the time frame there, when we took a big hit just a few minutes ago, well, a few hours ago, the aurora didn't really spike. So I'm caused to wonder what the heck is going on. I'm not really sure. But what I can say is the fact that, you know, when we look at these, this is the Magnetosphere models. Sun's off to the left. This is showing you solar wind speed. Okay? So let me push play here. And again, this is only showing you speed. It's not showing you nothing else. Again, the sun's to the left, so everything's moving from left to right. It's supposed to anyway. Doesn't always. You know, we do get kind of some directional stuff sometimes. That's kind of normal. But when we see the big time wrong direction type of stuff, that's not really what we should be seeing. Matter of fact, I'm going to refresh that page. Yeah, see, it's different. Okay, let's check it out again. Hey, Tom, what's up, bud? Good to see you. So as we keep moving here, and again, nothing really too much way crazy looking. Now, this is only showing us density. Remember what I said, when we got high speed, we get low density, and that's what we're seeing. The white colors are low dense particles, all right? So, but that doesn't say that things aren't moving, because they are. Watch. Look at all this stuff kind of crazy looking. Now, I've been talking about this too. You see this little notch out here in the front? We've been seeing that a lot. It's almost like that's a permanent fixture now. It even goes down into here. You can see it. The density is a little bit higher right here. That's why it's darker. So that can mean a lot of things. That can mean that, you know, maybe we have a crack or something in our magnetic field right out here in the front, and those particles are getting through, which is going to make it more dense. Okay? That's what we would be talking about there if we're going to talk about that. And it does seem as though that's the case, because we do kind of see that. Now, it's normal to have some cracks in our magnetic field. They're always there. They get filled in, they get bigger, they fill in and move around, all kinds of crazy stuff, all right? But when they get real big and we take a big hit at the right angle, it can really give us some issues. And when we're talking about angle for a second, a lot of times the angle matters with space weather. That can really give us a good tug, which can actually trigger some earthquakes. And that's, I'm not saying that's what happened this time, because I can't show you that because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it on the graphs. But what we're going to look at here real quick, well, first thing I want to do is I'm going to take you over here and show you the earthquake first. Okay? This is the earthquake USGS, and here was the 6.3 in the Philippines. Okay, so if we click on the pager, which is the most important one in my opinion, because it shows us the estimated fatalities and economic loss. Right now, everything is really low, so that's a great thing. That's why it was green. I just want everybody to understand that. That's why I go here first. I'll look at the other stuff after I look at that, because that's more important than anything. The loss of life, number one. Number two, then you got to talk about, buildings falling and stuff like that kind of stuff. But we had this one pop off, and then, notice the time. That's 8:43 Eastern. I got this set for my own time. You add 5 hours to that, and that's going to put you roughly at the turn of the day. Okay? So, UTC. So if we go look at the Magnetosphere models, what was happening at that time? Let me show you. This is what was happening at that time. Okay? We were pretty much just hanging out right here, and watch what happens. We take a big, huge smack. Right there. See, now notice the time. See, it's like right before the turn of the day. See all that pressure build? And then watch our bow shock. Look at all this stuff happening right here. See how it got compressed in? Look at that. That's, we see it directional like this sometimes, but we've been talking about this, you know, and that's pushing hard. And we keep moving forward and it stays there. And it's pushing so hard that it actually hits and our magnetic field is holding it back, but it's pushing it around. Watch it go around. I'm going to back it up. See how it goes like that? And then it does that. And then obviously we're going to go back to normal because we start going, you know, it lets up some and we're able to push back to where we should be. But then it goes to chaos again. That's some crazy, you know, movements going on there. Notice what happens that once we get hit like that a lot of that magnetic pressure and a lot of that stuff came in. It actually made it through pretty decent because it's hanging around. See it? That energy's hanging around. Inside our satellite line, really, I mean, I would have to say some of that stuff's making it through all the way. It's just what it looks like. So we'll take a look at that again. I just thought that was like crazy right there. That one there is really what got me. Look at the time. What happened right at that time? A 6.3 quake. So somebody tell me that is not related. What I would tell you to do, if you're going to say that that's not related at all, well, try to fill belief up in one hand and put your other hand out and crap in the other and see which one fills up first. Because I'm telling you right now that there's no way in my mind that is not related. Sorry. You know, when it happens at that exact time, when we take a big old wallop like that right on top, I mean, bam, it's there. You can't tell me that ain't going to affect things. No way. No way. I mean, hey Scott, what's up, bud? Merry Christmas, man. Hope you and Claudia have a good one, bud. I just don't see how that can't be related, guys. You know, and you still got people out there trying to say that it's not. It just really, it makes no sense. When over and over and over again, we can show you earthquakes happening around these kinds of things. I'm not just talking like a 2.3 or a 1.5 earthquake. We're talking 6.3. Very significant stuff here. It ain't something that's small. The biggest earthquake of the day happened when we got hit right there. Sorry. It's related, in my opinion. You don't have to believe it, like I said, but I'm showing you the observation, and you know, and if you don't think it is like that, and I'm serious, this is a genuine thing. I would like to know why. Because it doesn't make sense to me. I seriously would want to know why, because there's got to be some reasoning that you wouldn't. It's just the way I think, you know. And I would be really curious to see why you would think that it wouldn't. But again, turn of the day here, guys. Look what happens magnetically. I mean, this is a rat nest of magnetic lines, guys. I mean, yeah, we see this right here during regular solar wind events. Okay, this isn't something we don't typically see. You know, yes, we're seeing some pole lines getting wrapped up back here. This is stuff we've seen 100 times. Whatever's causing it's whatever's causing it. I'm not going to go into that kind of a conversation right now, that part of it, because there's a lot of things we could talk about there. But what I'm saying is that's something we've seen over and over again. But when we get to the turn of the day here again, see how things are kind of normal, and then all of a sudden that happens. That was the initial, like, you know, we started feeling that magnetic energy. And notice out here in the front, you see these IMF lines pile up and break right in front of our planet? Look here. Look at this. So that's telling you right there that we're starting to get hit on this direction. It's this direction. Why is it that direction? That makes you wonder, you know? So it's kind of crazy. Yeah, there was an earthquake there too, Scott. I seen that. We'll take a look at that in just a second. But as you're looking at this, you know, it's this way. So, like me, you know, like Scott's been showing us for a long time, and like I've been showing you guys his observations, and I went through and went back and showed you CMEs after CMEs happening at the same time when this thing would show up out by the sun. You know, that's another massive geomagnetic field out there that's influencing things. It's not just going to influence it there. It's going to influence the whole thing. And when this stuff becomes directional like this, it makes you wonder. Anyway, so you start getting hit like that, the IMF lines, which is our connection to the sun and other celestial objects, notice the second part of that, other celestial objects. So as we're looking at this, you can see they're piling up this direction. See them? And they're breaking in that direction. It's all directional. Look at that. And then, here it goes. Boom. That's the initial. Boom. And then it blows out. Now, let me say something here. These are closed field lines. That's a massive closed field line loop, number one. Number two, again, it's showing you direction. Okay? But I want to say this too. When we get hit really hard in the front, we see this every time. So when somebody tells you we shouldn't see any kind of like ballooning out in the back when we get hit in the front, it's not true. This is exactly what we should, when we get hit real hard in the front, or from whatever direction, we're going to see a big blowout magnetically, at least for a minute. Okay, that's what happens. I mean, what do we think? We can stop it dead and not feel anything from it? That ain't how it works, guys. So as we keep moving forward, you know, you see that, and look at the time. That's all happening within a half hour to 45 minutes before that quake popped off. So it makes perfect sense that that's related. And this rat nest mess behind us that got all chaotic, that stuck around for a minute. Okay, usually when we take the big hits like that, it'll balloon out for like 15-20 minutes and it goes back to normal pretty quick. That did not. That was over an hour. And then we got hit again. You see this? See how things are getting moved again, directional? Okay, so we stayed pretty chaotic for almost 2 hours there. Our magnetics were all jacked up for quite some time, and they still kind of are. This is current. Well, let me, I'll just update it here real quick, and we'll look at the most current one. That's current. See how we're still tilted? And we're going to be. But that's why we took it on the top. And like I said, guys, angle of that matters when we're talking about earthquakes. So just know that. Now I know there's a lot of theories and a lot of things happening when we're talking about pole shift and stuff. You know, some people think that when the magnetic pole shift does actually eventually happen, that there'll be some sort of a geological pole shifting too. You know, I don't know how far we'll shift. I don't think we're going to get like turned on our head. That's just my opinion. Now I know there's other opinions out there, okay? And they're valid. Let me say, you know, none of us, let me say this again, none of us have been here for that. None of us. So what I'm saying is, none of us can say 100% anything. And anybody that does, and I'm seeing quite a few people right now, they're claiming 100% knowledge on everything, and they're discounting anything anybody else has to say. And I have to say that's the wrong way to go about it. You know, those of us that are willing to... Yeah, exactly, Rick. It's an educated guess. It really is. Those of us that are willing to at least listen to an intelligent comment. I ain't saying listen to the stupid stuff, okay? Or listen to an intelligent thought. sometimes that can lead us to another one. Do you think that myself and Scott and others like us got to see what we get to see by just like ignoring other things because we thought that something was a certain way? How did any of us come to any of this kind of stuff? We had to have an open mind, and it would be remiss of any of us to close our minds off at this point. We can't do that. So when you hear somebody telling you that they have 100% of all the answers on everything, and they cannot admit when they're wrong, or they cannot admit that anybody else has any truth whatsoever, you need to seriously reconsider listening to those kinds of people. Because what they're doing is, the ones that had asked you for years, and I'm talking years, to keep an open mind, are now asking you to close it. So that's kind of what I'm saying, And yeah, Scott, he makes a good point there too. There could be, he's calling it a so-called pole shift. None of us know exactly. We can see it moving like magnetic north. We know that. But as far as this complete flip-flop, none of us can really say 100% anything. And, when we see certain things happening in certain directions, it makes you wonder, are people like trying to blow it out of proportion? Or are they not blowing it up enough? I mean, what's going on? And that's why I go back to that same statement I just said. It's the fact that none of us, and I mean none of us, have been here for that. None of us. And like Ricky said a minute ago, it's all an educated guess at that point. We can look back at sedimentary things that had flip-flopped in the past. We can go back and look at, I've heard some people call them a magnetic excursion, in a certain cycle. I've heard this, I've heard that. I've heard so many things. And we hear this. Yeah, a crustal pole shift would take a massive amount of energy, in my opinion. That's my opinion, guys. Okay. Well, Scott shares that. Yeah, either way, a bad day. Exactly, Ricky. That's not a. Yeah, I don't. There's so many things, guys. We look around, and I know we're stuck on this pole shift conversation right now, but why I'm bringing it up is because when that does end up happening, does it? Are we really going to know what to do? Are we really going to know 100% what's going to happen? Because it takes us, to know what's going to happen to be able to know what to do. Right? So what do? We try to prepare for a lot of different things, a lot of different angles because of that. And I think that's the best thing to do. Because what that's showing you is that you're not like committing to just one theory there. You're actually addressing the fact that you could possibly be wrong with what you think might actually be happening. Hey BK, what's up, man? Merry Christmas. So that's what I'm trying to say. I want people to understand that end of it. I don't want anybody to close their minds off to stuff. And I see that, and me and Scott have actually had a couple conversations about this. We're seeing that across our whole genre of what we're talking about right now. And I don't throw names out. Hey, Russell, what's going on, bud? Yeah, wobble. And I was talking about that yesterday. We talk about the Earth wobble, and, I'm going to be interested to see what Mr. MBB3 comes up with his tilt, okay? He's talking about tilt, guys. He's not really talking about wobble. I don't know if he's actually taking readings every day of the shadow and the length of it. But we are wobbling, guys. We're wobbling quite a bit sometimes. And that, we need to understand that. And, now I say that as if I've actually went out and done some, like, scientific, trying to measure it or something. I haven't. Okay? So what that does for me is, anything I have to comment on that, I can only go off of what other people are saying. And that's, and I applaud, Michael over there for doing something like that. Mr. MBB3, his name is Michael, in case you guys didn't know that. Most people do. But I applaud him for taking the incentive there and actually doing something like that. And that's how I found this channel to begin with. That's how I found this genre. That's how I got into this research to begin with, was going off of his UV stuff. He actually went out there, got other people to send him readings, and with data. That's science, guys. He's not just sitting on his hands over there making claims of this, that, and the third. And just letting, when people like ask him questions, he truly tries to go out and find those answers, not just by, doing a simple Google search. He's talking about, doing the actual measurements himself in his backyard. I mean, hey Dinah, what's up? Good to see you. Yeah, shout out to my Aussies out there. It's awesome. Yeah, you're Christmas Day already, aren't you? Probably Christmas evening. But yeah. Jerry, good to see you. Sparky, you in here, bud? I see you, Sparky. It's good to see everybody. It really is. Isaiah in here. Is Isaiah in here too? Oh, you're probably saying, Linda, hey, go to Isaiah. Okay, yeah, my bad. My bad, Hilly. Yeah, I figured New South Wales. Okay, cool. Tom, I don't know. That's my whole point, guys. I don't want to call it like that level of an event. Hey Ron, what's up, bud? I just don't know. And I guess that's where I'm at. And and I hate to put it out there with like so much indecisiveness, but I think that at some level that's actually kind of good, because it forces us to explore other options. Explore and be more open to what other people are saying, and at least, go research it and look at it for yourself. Merry Christmas, Ron. Sorry I missed your call earlier, bud. I was out to eat with my family and stuff, and when I turned my ringer back on, I seen you called. Sorry. It's good to have you, bud. But yeah, so that's just, and I'm talking about that today kind of for a reason. Because I was actually flipping through YouTube today, and I seen channels that I had watched in the past, and people that I respected that I question now. Because they're forcing people to close their minds off to everything else but what they've said. That's it. They don't want you listening to nobody else. Hey, Joanne. Good to see you. And it is, man, it's just disheartening. It really is. It was almost sad to me to see some of these comments and some of the things that these people were saying that I used to really highly respect. And I held what they said, in pretty high regard. And when you start hearing them just backtrack on things that they told everybody else to do, like such as keep an open mind, and now they want you to close it off. I just don't understand that. I really don't. I can't. I'll never be there. Sorry. I just won't. So, anyway, I'm going to move on from all that ranting crap. I just want you guys to understand, like, when we're talking about pole shift and stuff like that, I think that there's a lot of things that we all have a pretty good idea, and some really, really good, like, science to point to kind of prove what we think is going to happen. And Scott made a great point up here. If I can go back and find it. I was talking about something else when he made the comment. A 1 degree shift. Even a 1 degree would cause crazy and intense climate changes. And that's what we're seeing. Okay? And that is true. You know, he's talking about a 1 degree shift, a permanent shift. Okay? And it's, in the wobble that we're talking about here, that could be part of it. And I think what Mr. MBB3 is doing, as far as taking those measurements and stuff, we're going to see next year. We're going to see when that data starts coming in. And this isn't coming from some agency. This is coming from one of us. So anybody out there that has problems taking what we show here because they come from a satellite or they come from a government agency or whatever, well, you can take that and throw that in the closet now, because we're having somebody do the actual science themselves. And he's showing you with a tape measure and everything else. So that's what I'm trying to say. It'd be really interesting to see the data that comes back with what he's got. Hey, Ashley, good to see you. Merry Christmas. God bless you back, girl. And, so I really think that's, I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I don't have hardly any of them, I guess. I don't know. But it was so disheartening to see some of those things that I was hearing today on some of the channels. It was early this morning. And I kind of brushed it away until we started talking about this. But just in 5 years, we have moved from, yep. That's an absolute fact right there, guys. That's a measurable thing that he's talking about there. And that's why we're starting to see massive changes. It's part of the reason. And, and again, we cannot, forget the fact that we got stuff coming in from outside. Yeah, Marie, you're right. And, let me say this too. Marie here says there's facts and there's beliefs. You know what happens? A person that's doing it the right way, the beliefs, if you study them, whatever was actually fact in those beliefs will still be a fact after it. So that's where we come. That's how we get to where we're going. We have a belief in something, in a theory or an idea, and we go into that. Hey, morning to you, Chris. Good to see you. South Africa. That's where Dr. Albers is from, guys. Hey, brother. What's up? What's up, Mark? Good to see you, man. Yeah, we will. We'll be over there, man. I was spending some time with some family and stuff. Thought I'd pop on here. Everybody else went to bed. Most of the parents and stuff that have kids or whatever are probably wrapping presents now anyway. Hey, John. What's up, man? What's going on, man? Ain't seen you in a minute. Good to see you, bud. Merry Christmas, man. So, guys, and that's what I would say. What's going on with the Magnetosphere? Okay, cool. I'll check it out here in a few minutes, man. The Magnetosphere, guys, I'll show it to you one more time here. Right about the time we had that earthquake, we started seeing this. It happened right at about the turn of the day. There was a 6.3 in the Philippines. My guess is it was probably... Yeah, I'll have to try to figure it out so much, Scott. I have to go... I'm not going to show everybody my email and stuff. But anyway, this right here happened right at the turn of the day. I'll try to pull it up on my phone, Scott, and just download it to Google Photos. But as we're doing this right here, you can see... that happened right before. And I'll show it to you here again. Let's update this real quick. So right before we see this, and look what's coming down from the north there. Look at that. Bam! Then it stays there. That pressure just stuck around for a second too. It took us a minute to fend that one off, guys. So, yeah. And then it just gets all crazy and chaotic. It's nuts. Oh, Mark, I was talking to Scott. My bad, man. He's emailed me something. So, yeah. I mean, it was, That's right. Smash that like button for me. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that. But, yeah, guys, I mean, it's hot. And Ron was in here. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I can do that. Let's click on this real quick. Ron was in here, and, yeah. I'm not going to get a bust on this one, will I? Let's see here. Here it is. It says the Earth's axis is inclined at 23.5 degrees, and the axis is making a full circle around the imaginary vertical axis in 1 year. Okay? They're telling you simple global dynamics here. Okay? My guess is it's going to tell you how much it's changed. Obviously, the Earth's axis during the year 2016, the path is widening. You see this? That's kind of what they're showing you here. Yeah. So when we're talking about wobble, you know, guys, this is really what we're talking about. And it's going to become more and more of an incline as it goes on. You see this? How things are moving? And, you know, a lot of people don't even know why a wobble even matters. Well, what it does is it changes the direction. It changes our position of the Earth, where you're at on the Earth, facing the sun. That's what it does. So, instead of the sun like beating here, if we were wobbled more, it would be here. What would that do? That would change the climate in that area, which would change it globally, because if it does it enough, it will melt glaciers. It will do it, all that kind of stuff, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Yeah, I think I got it muted. No, there it is. So, yeah, I'll just let this play. And so May 2013, 14, 15, you guys seeing this progression? This right here is why we see the glacier melts. You can see the sunlight. They've done a great job on this, by the way. Here, let me do this. And, you know, guess what they're showing you there? Yeah, guys, I don't have a whole lot of time. But, yeah. So, anyway, what they're going to show you here is what goes on there. Okay? And you're going to see the complete wobble. And it's going to, basically what this is doing, it's going to show you what's going to look like a spiral outward. But I bet they're going to pick a spot, and they're going to show you that same spot as we wobble degrees. So let me move that out of the way. Yeah, it will, to shift the magnetic field. Because you guys got to understand, when we tilt like that, our core is tilting with us. And that's what creates our magnetic fields, our core. The rotation of what's inside our planet. So, yeah. And if we're, you know, this is what this is doing. We can see that in the last, yeah, it's showing you the wobble. I'm trying to understand this myself. I haven't seen this yet, guys. Sorry. Oh, there ain't, no, I didn't break no news on no major tornadoes. I was just explaining what the warning levels were. That's why I kind of stopped talking about it, because I know there was some confusion there when I was talking about that. Sorry. No, God, there ain't no major tornadoes. There was some tornadoes yesterday. I know there were some in Louisiana and some in Alabama. I think it made it into there. That's okay, Pagan. No problem. Australia? I bet you it's probably hot. Sorry. But as far as Australia weather, I don't know. Warning levels as a whole. Did you guys see that? I want you guys to look at that. Hold on a minute. I'm going to bring that back a little bit. I want you guys to see what happens when our magnetics... That was after a crustal shift, just so you know. So watch what happens here. This is going to show you... Hey, good see you, Russell. Good to see you, bud. So watch what happens. They're going to show you our magnetics, okay? And you're going to actually see what happens when this stuff does flip. Or when it shifts, anyway. This is our magnetic pole lines. Okay? Now, I'm going to pause it right there. Notice that this thing did not go on its head. Okay? Notice what happened there. It went from here to here. Now, again, these are one of those things that's play nice in there, guys. Come on. We don't need no negativity in there today, guys, all right? Please, just play nice. It's Christmas Day, man. I mean, come on. Or almost. So, anyway, you got the poles here, and they're going to boing, you know. And again, I don't think that this would be an exact replication of anything. But it is what it is, you know. And, so, yeah. No, I'm not saying anybody's... I don't even know what's going on in there. I just see people saying some crazy words in there every once in a while. Just respect my chat rules. That's all I ask, okay? No cussing, none of that kind of stuff. None of the vulgar stuff. Now, if you want to say, like, ass or something like that, that's different. I'm talking, like, the really bad cuss words. I get it. I just try to respect everybody, that's all. That and no attacking anybody else. Okay, guys? Yeah, I know, Don. I don't think that you're trying to... I don't know who you're even talking to in there or not. I don't even know. I was trying to watch this video, and I looked over and I seen some people apologizing to somebody or something. I don't know. I have to go through there and look here in a minute. But yeah, I was just trying to understand this video. I hadn't seen it yet. Scott wanted me to play it for you guys. But it does show really good what's going on here. And that is because of planet wobble, or tilt, I should say. A wobble, guys, you got to understand, a wobble is back and forth. That's different than a complete tilt. A tilt will go to one position and stay there. At least that's how I understand it. So if we keep moving here with this, I'll push play. Yeah, enjoy the ride. Yeah, thanks a lot, buddy. Scott, that was a good video, man. That was really cool. I'll have to go back and rewatch that so I can understand that a little bit better. I would suggest everybody do that. Matter of fact. Yeah, Marie, this is what I'm saying. Marie makes a comment here. You got me thinking on the wobble aspect. Now listen, let me make a comment here on that. Hey, body and soul, good to see you. If she didn't have any kind of an open mind, she wouldn't even have went there. If she thought she knew absolutely everything about everything, she would never even have said something like that. And that's allowed her now to be able to explore another aspect of what's going on in our world. You guys see that? And that was my whole point earlier. That was a perfect example of somebody that's not letting somebody tell them how to think. That's her listening to what somebody else had to say through a video like what Scott was showing here. And keeping an open mind enough to be able to say, well, maybe I need to explore that a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? And if we all do that, could you imagine what we can learn from each other? I mean, honestly. Can you imagine? It's such a good thing to be able to do something like that. And let me say this too. We're not always going to agree. And we're going to be passionate about what we believe. Okay? And about what we say is fact. Okay? And that's just the way that it is. But we have to allow other people to have their fact too. And that's where it kind of stops. You know, if somebody is saying that for them it's fact, they're probably not going to hear much more on that subject that you got to share with them. So there's probably not really a whole lot of more conversation to have on that end of it. But it doesn't mean that you can't talk about something else. That's what I'm trying to say. You know, we all got our areas that we think that we're 100% right on. And we're probably not going to budge on those. But the people I'm talking about earlier are the ones that say that they have it all of it, figured out. And if you're listening to anybody else, you're an idiot. On any other subject. They're saying like they have the whole world figured out. And telling you to close your mind off to all everybody. I mean, come on. And these are the same people telling you to keep an open mind 6 months ago. Because nobody else wanted to hear what they had to say. That's where it came from. I know that's where it came from. And it's really disheartening. It really is. Because I really respected some of these people. And to see them do this is just ridiculous. It makes me understand. It really does. It makes me understand where they've actually came to. So. All right. You go for it, Ron. Hey, man. Hey, go have some fun. I'm sure you got your grandkids there, right? I mean, go for it, brother. That's where it's at, brother. I'm telling you. You know, a pole shift can wait. We're going to have Christmas first, right, guys? Just kidding. Merry Christmas, bud. If you guys you need to go over and check him out if you guys don't know. Guys, somebody drop his link in there, please. Emergency Management Associates. His name's Ron, guys, if you don't know. Most of you guys probably already know who he is. You know, just great guy overall, man, I'm telling you. You know, we know who's genuine. We know who's trying to find the truth. And, you know, that's why I got Scott in here. That's why me and Scott are friends to begin with. He's taught me God so much I can't even say everything he's taught. I mean, it would take me all night. I'm appreciative of that so much, and to everybody else too that's helped me. It's been a long ride for me so far. It really has, and his has even been longer. And other people that's been around here long enough. Thanks, Rip. Appreciate that. That's another channel, guys. Rippy, good to see you in here, buddy. You guys want to know some stuff about, you know, a lot of prepping stuff that he does? Well, Ron does that too. A lot of you do. I mean, Rip, you cracked me up, brother. I mean, your video yesterday talking about the stimulus. you come out, first thing you said was it didn't stimulate you at all, not even an inch. I was like, dude, I was on the floor. It was hysterical. Anyway, sorry about that. It had me cracking up, man. But anyway, so, yeah, guys, I just want us all to be able to get, yeah, exactly, man. Yeah. Oh, come on now. Don't be talking like that, brother. We're all good. You know, I know what you mean, man. I know you're going through a rough one, brother. We're trying to help you through that. Really are. All of us are, you know, I know you gotten a lot of help from us, and I know you've been very, very appreciative to everybody. Hey, Annie, good Merry Christmas back to you. Christine, subbing to Planet X. That's what everybody should do. I'm telling you. You know, it's been a long road for me to get to where I'm at. And let me say this: if it wasn't for Scott, he'll tell you this straight up, that I would call him sometimes in the middle of the night, at least 3 or 4 different times that happened within about a year. I about just dropped my channel altogether because there was so much negativity around what we were doing, and everybody was just coming at us like really, really hard, and I didn't understand that at first. I didn't understand why people would, and now I do. And I understand that it doesn't matter what you say or do, people are going to do that. So what that allowed me to do, and what that taught me, and what Scott was telling me, was like, listen, man, they're going to say what they're going to say. You need to do what you need to do and what you need to say to try to help people. And that's just what it is. That's, you know, I learned that from him. I learned that from watching what he went through. If people can learn through what I've done wrong, please do. Don't make the same mistakes. That's why I tell you guys my mistakes. And I'm able to learn, you know, from other people's mistakes and from what other people are telling me. I watched Scott go through a bunch of crap, okay? I watched it. We all did. I know a little more than most because we're good friends. But even the stuff that was out there for everybody to see was enough. So, and if somebody keeps doing it after that, that tells you right there that they're there for the long haul. They're there because they're trying to help. I don't care how the presentation is or whatever people might think. The fact of the matter is, there's a lot of truth there, okay? And he stands by it. And he lets the observations speak for themselves, like that's what I've started to do myself. You know, I can't talk you into what you believe. I don't want to. I want you to take the observations that I show you, that Scott shows you, that anybody shows you, go research it yourself, and make up your own mind. Because I'm telling you right now, if you do that, number one, you're going to believe a lot stronger. Number two, you're going to have a better understanding. And number three is, more times than not, we're going to share the same belief, because I'm not going to show you an observation, in my opinion, that doesn't have what it needs to have. There might be a few of them. You know, there might be a few out there I could be wrong on, and there is. I'm sure that there is. And every time that stuff's pointed out to me, I always, 100% of the time, will come out here and tell you guys. And I think what that does is that allows you guys to see that it's okay to be wrong sometimes. That we shouldn't quit when we've been wrong. Scott will sit here and tell you he's been wrong on some stuff before. He had to learn just like anybody else. That's right. You know, he did. That's the truth. They come at him so hard, guys. I'm not going to go into all of it, obviously. You know, and they've come at me too. They've come at everybody at some level, but for him, it's been a long time and hard. Okay, and you know, so we're doing all that, and it is what it is. So, I don't know. What are you sorry about, Daniel? What you got up here? Let me read you, man. Competition creates conflict, you think? Well, I also know that iron sharpens iron. That's another thing that I understand. You know, sometimes the conflict can really, you know, sharpen people's swords enough that it makes them stronger. I'm not the guy that's going to sit here, and this is just me. Like I said, we'll probably disagree on this, but I'm not, I don't want my kids or my grandkids ever to get a participation trophy on anything. I hated that. I did. I hated that growing up and with my kids. I tried to, I ran a baseball program, and I tried my best to get the board and everything to get rid of that crap. Because what it does is it stops those kids from pushing to be hard and good. And don't get me wrong. I understand that, kids need recognition for just trying. I understand that. But what it does is it also teaches your child how to lose. That's an important tool. People forget that. We're not always going to win everything. Dinah, you're killing me. Well, I mean, I guess, Daniel, what I would say there, if you're talking like on a massive level, maybe. I'm not talking about, risking anybody's life or anything like that on anything. I'm talking about just everyday life that we all go through. If you want to talk about big political things like that, yeah, I would probably agree that we shouldn't be, just out there disagreeing with each other on a global scale. But even, oh, sure. 100%. It is. What are we, 7.5 billion people now? Something like that? So yeah. And again, guys, these what we're talking about here are very, very strong feelings I know people have. And yes, Diane, I do believe debate is good. And that's the other thing, how do we ever know if we're wrong if somebody doesn't challenge us? That's the biggest thing for me. If we're never challenged, how do we know we're wrong? Because if somebody just walked up to me and said I'm wrong and just kept moving, what am I going to do? I'm not going to pay attention to that. I mean, you just got to really, look at that in a big scale. You can't just think that everything is going to be, cherries and we're just going to walk around here and nothing ever bad's going to happen. Which is why I think it's great for our kids to learn how to lose. But I also know that it's great to show them how to win. Yeah, I can agree with that, man. Yeah, for sure, Daniel. 100%. How fast do satellites travel in space when they move it from one place to another? Chris, that's a good question. I don't know the exact speed. I know that some of them are going to move faster than others. And believe it or not, I think that, I think Scott would probably, if he's still in here, probably help me with this one. But when they actually use the sun or whatever body they're orbiting to give them a slingshot effect. And that'll have them moving at different speeds. They use that, and they'll use the speed of that little whiplash, so they'll travel at different speeds. You got to understand out in space, if it's in an orbit, that's one thing. But if it's just out there meandering, moving around wherever it wants, again, satellites are in an orbit. I mean, that's the definition of a satellite, really. It's an orbiting body of some sort around another object. So what that does is it most definitely will, because that can be, our moon is a satellite of the Earth. So when sometimes when you hear a scientist or a physicist or an astrophysicist or whatever is talking about space, they'll say, yeah, one of Jupiter's satellites' name is whatever, right? Or like say one of Saturn's satellites is named Titan. They're talking about a moon. So yeah, it's just Ricky, you're killing me there, girl. Love it, love it, love it. And you know, guys, it really is. It's one of those things where we got to just be able to accept each other for who we are, but challenge ourselves at the same time while allowing others to challenge us too, and challenge them back. And that's kind of what Daniel was saying earlier, I think. You know, now like I said, on a global scale, there's absolutely no way I think we should be, you know, rattling swords with anybody really. Unless we need to show a little bit of strength or whatever. Body and soul. There you go. It's just, you know, there's so many things that go on. And when we're talking about the space subject, there, you know, it brings in a whole lot of different other theories. And let me say this. It's theory. A lot of it. The majority of it. Unless we're showing you observation, it's not, at that point, we're showing you an observation. It's not a theory. It's there. It's right there in front of your face. So, you know, what else? What do you call it from that? Now, people want to question whether the observation is correct or whatever. You can do that, you know, but that's up to you. That's why I tell you guys to take the observation yourself and go research it. Hilly, man, you got my mind going on all kinds of crazy places with that one. I'm just wondering what kind of nutcracker you're talking about. Killing me, brother. Killing me like always. So, yeah. G513 in the hizzy. What do you ask? What did Marfools ask here? Let me ask. Let me go up here and find it. If a pole ship happens, will Santa live on the South Pole, or does he live now as Santa? That's a good one, man. Wow, that's one of the best ones I've heard all night. Good one. Man, that's on point. On point. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I love it, man. You guys are awesome. Yeah, Daniel. That's right. You tell him, Pagan. Tell him to keep his head up. He's going through some stuff right now, guys, and yeah, it's not easy for him right now. You know, Dr. Albers is really sick, so just understand that. You know, somebody drop that link in there for Dr. Albers and Scott, if they would, please. Yeah, you're right. I seen that. I was gonna say that. I just forgot. Does the object never get in front of the sun so we can see it? It's always... Yeah, Scott's talking about an eccentric orbit. I can show you guys that real quick if you guys want to see it, what I'm talking about. Actually, I'll just use this little simple graph right here that I got. I show you guys this all the time. What he's talking about, the question is, you know, how come we never see the object that we're talking about right in front of the sun? From our view. Well, the reason is because it's orbiting like this. It's in an eccentric elliptical orbit. Okay? You know what eccentric means? If anybody has ever had what they call an eccentric bolt, like when you put it in something, it's not centered. It's like this right here. You see this? If that was right in the middle, that would be centric. That means center. If it's eccentric, it means it's off-center. So it causes... Pretend if this was like the center of your mass right here. The sun on this would be wobbling like this. See that? That's what they call eccentric. It's just like this. Follow my mouse. See that? See how I'm going close here and long here? Now, elliptical, when we talk about the ecliptic and stuff, that's the equator of the sun stretched out. It can be above or below, and that's when we're talking about that. So, you know, when we're doing all this kind of stuff, this is really how this is orbiting. Okay? It goes out longer, and it comes in shorter, and it kind of goes back to the speed of it too. When it gets pulled back, falling, you got to understand, you know, I know we're getting into some technical stuff here, but objects like us, we're falling into the sun. Now, you guys understand that? It's just that because of the speed that we're doing it, we're staying in an orbit. So we got to understand that the other objects are doing the same thing. They're falling into that, you know, when you start talking about orbital mechanics and things like that, and yes, there's magnetics and stuff involved too, but that is one of the effects that happens. We're falling into the sun always. It's just the speed that we're doing it, we're in a perfect spot. And that's why, guys, believe it or not, we don't always stay at the perfect distance away from the sun. There, certain times of the year, we're closer or further away from the sun. Yeah, when Scott says below the ecliptic, guys, like I said, you guys see this right here? That's the equator of the sun. Below the ecliptic is anything below that line. So when he says it falls way below the ecliptic, he's saying down here. So it's kind of doing this. You guys see that? And it does it at the right time that we can't, it's not in front of us. We can't see it. And that's, you know, that's one of the things that they were talking about when they were saying, hey, you know, go to the South Pole, you might be able to see this thing a little better. That was one of the reasons. That's why they think a lot of our leaders go there, and there's a whole lot of subject there too. But again, I don't want to get into that subject of, you know, orbital mechanics and all that kind of stuff, because that takes a minute to understand. I mean, a lot to understand, really. Yeah, you're welcome, Annie. I mean, Scott's doing the explaining. I'm here just, you know, playing wingman here. Or showing you guys, telling you guys what's going on there. And that's the other thing, guys. I want to point this out, too, and I haven't said this in a minute. We get questioned on, like, the 28-day. Ain't that fast? All that kind of thing. Yeah, it is fast. But you got to understand that they've seen 2 stars. Listen to me. I'm talking stars that are huge, orbiting each other in, what was it, Scott, 7 minutes? It was crazy fast. How do we know that happened? Because they were seeing a deflection of light in that same time period. It was crazy fast. Like, I mean, I know it shocked me. I think it shocked Scott when they said how fast it was actually orbiting each other. There was a binary system out there that's what was happening. So when somebody tells me that can't orbit in 28 days, I tell them that they're wrong, because it can. And it won't rip it apart either. People say that too. That's not the truth. That's not how it works. You know, Mercury's been out there in front of the sun for how long? It's still there. You know, it's not ripped apart. You know what I mean? I mean, that Mercury's pretty close to the sun, guys. It's closer than what obviously we are. It's not like extremely close like what we talk about our object, but it's close enough that if it was gonna, this is the other thing too. I want to mention this because this gets asked a lot. The sun is not on fire. All right, you have to have oxygen for fire. When you're here on our planet and you're at a campfire, what do you do to put that campfire out besides putting water on it? You smother it out, right? Why do you smother it? Well, because you want to get the oxygen gone. If the oxygen's not there, It doesn't burn. The sun is not on fire. Okay? So that's exactly what I'm saying. And I know that for some people that's hard to understand when you look at some of the pictures that we show you. I'm not saying that the sun's not hot. There's a difference. Pee on it. Hilly, my God, dude, you're on point every time. Yeah, it's plasmatic. Rebel, you hit a point there too that I hit on quite a bit. There's 4 states of matter. There didn't used to be 4 that they would put in our textbooks. It just used to be 3. It was solid, liquid, gas, right? Gas is neutral. It doesn't have a charge. So, a charged gas is plasma. That's what we're talking about here. It has a charge. So if it has a charge, it's magnetic, which means that it can do electricity. It acts like electricity. It will flow the same. So when we talk about the polarity of the solar wind, and I'll go back to this for a second. I didn't mean to get this deep tonight, guys. Sorry. But our connection to the sun is magnetic, right? Interplanetary magnetic field line. The charged gas, plasma, it's charged, so it follows that magnetic connection because it does like magnetics and electricity. It gets here this way. So when it leaves the sun, it stays on this road. It's just not out here haphazardly. Okay? When plasma leaves, yes, it can be exploded out, but eventually it will follow a magnetic connection line to wherever it's going. Okay? And that's what we see. That's what the solar wind is. When those charged particles leave the sun, they stay on that magnetic line. They don't vary from that unless they're, influenced by something else. And that can happen. Like CMEs, solar flares, all that kind of stuff. Well, solar flares are a little different. That's X-ray. It's not charged particle. But when we look at this is what we see. So we have to understand, that's why I bring you guys back to this a lot. Because this is very, very, this is the base of what we need to know. If you understand this, if you can understand this simple graph that I call it simple. I don't want to call it simple for everybody because it's not. It's simple to me because I made it as simple as I could. That's why I call it that. So if I offend somebody there, I don't mean to. But I tried to, label this as such, and I put it in such just really simple ways that I could. I could have went real deep with this, but you can go really deep with this. And yes, there's going to be a lot of other factors that determine how fast this stuff gets here, the angle of which it gets here, which we talk about. When we talk about the BZ, we're talking about the angle. When we talk about the phi angles, it has angle right in its name. So when we say the phi angle has a polarity, the phi angle's polarity is the solar wind polarity. So when we say the phi angle had a polarity flip, that means that this was negative and this was positive and it flipped. Okay? But it's still flowing because you still have that flow. Okay? Like electricity, guys, the simple definition of electricity is the flow of electrons. Why do electrons flow? Because they have a charge. You see where I'm getting at here? And just like everything else in our universe, they tend to act the same. What do I mean by that? I mean water. What does water do? Water will find the path of least resistance. If it's going to move, it's going to take the path of least resistance. Guess what? So does electricity. It will find the path of least resistance. So when we're talking about certain things, like when you're talking about voltage, you're talking about flow. When you're talking about amperage, you're talking about the power of that flow. So that's just a little quick electrical lesson, I guess, if you want to call it something like that. But those are very basic, like, electrical terms, and it does help for people to understand that when we're talking about what we talk about here. And I've tried to go over some of that stuff over and over and over again, and man, I get hammered for repeating myself. I do. It's crazy, but I do. I get it, though. I mean, I wouldn't want to listen to me say the same thing over and over every day. Hey, Sparky. I mean, I get it. I do. I honestly do. Okay? But at the same time, guys, I mean, I try to do this for people, and let me say it like Jesus said it, because it's Christmas. Jesus said, you're not going to go into the house of the saved to save the saved, right? They're already saved. Where are you going to go? You're going to go into the house of the sinner. So if I think somebody needs to have some information, I need to take that information that they don't know and tell them about it. It helps for people to get a refresher, like, and I try to add stuff new every video. So people that, they're not just hearing the same thing over and over and over again. They get something new out of it. But I also understand that there's going to be new viewers constantly. And they need to hear those basic things sometimes. And that's why I've encouraged a lot of the mods here. And you guys have been doing a great job of posting, like, the link to the little four video playlist. Very basic information of space weather. And it just, and we need to do that. And you guys do a great job pointing people there, because what that does is that allows me not to have to repeat so much. Now, I still repeat and explain, but it does give somebody a venue to go to, or an avenue to go down, that they can at least get some basic, space weather definitions. What'd you say there, Scott? Yeah, exactly. He says, we're teachers and new people come aboard every day, so you must recap and repeat yourself constantly. Yes, and believe me, I know he feels the same with me. We hate doing that over and over and over and over again, but we know that if we're trying to help people, we need to do that. We have to do that. And for me, I catch myself trying to talk faster because I'm trying to cram so much in. And I know that I'm never ever going to get it all in there. Hit ones if you love it. Yeah, cool. Do that. Here, everybody throw me a 1 in here. Jason, good to see you, bud. Yeah, I know. We do, don't we, Scott? And that's kind of, throw them 1s in there, guys. I want to see it. Burn that chat up. And Kiwi makes a good point there. It doesn't have to be an old mind. It's just a mind. What I tell you guys yesterday in my video, a lot of people don't know this. Do you know that it takes? I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, guys. It takes. Thanks, Chewbacca, love that. It takes a human brain. Back at you, Ricky. It takes a human brain 14 times to hear something. Thanks, Axe. Before you remember it. Your mind won't forget it. It'll what it does is it'll put it up into a higher, what I call a search engine in your brain. Okay? And what that means is that it's more towards your conscious mind. Cool, more fool's gold. Hey Taylor, what's up? So what that does is it keeps people, when you say it 14 times, you will remember it. It keeps it in a part of your brain. Your brain stores it in a different area. And you're able to access it easier. Now, granted, if you don't hear it again for like months, you're not going to remember it as much. But I used that technique when I was in school. And I'm telling you guys, it works. If you say it out loud, verbally, 14 times. Yeah, guys, let's not drop names in there, okay? Please. That's one of my chat rules. So if you guys could don't drop no names in there. But with all that, with the 14 thing there, it's okay. I get it. I understand. But the whole 14, remember things, say it 14 times, it works, guys. Oh, no harm. It's okay. Don't worry about anything. We're good. But, hey, Vitalia, how you doing? James Frank. The first Hilly, man, dude, you like I say it's all the time. Hey, May, what's up? Are we supposed to wobble? Yeah, a little. It's not it shouldn't be as what we see. I'll tell you that. Oh wow, 70-mile-an-hour winds in Jersey. Whoa. Man, 30 plus without power. Hey, let's check this out. Hold on, guys. We can check that out real quick. Oh, wow. Look at that. Holy cow. There's Putnam. That's New York. You said Jersey, Christine? Holy cow. There's 45,000 people without power in Jersey. Wow. That's great. You stay safe. Hear me? Don't be, yeah. Don't be doing nothing stupid. Hate to say it like that, but yeah. What's the power for? Ordinary? There's big storms over there. Let's do this real quick, guys, because this is an issue here. Let's check this out. Oh wow. Oh my God. Look at that. Holy crap. I can't tell you the last time I looked on this map and seen that amount of red. That is crazy. Wow, that's a big one, guys. Whoa. That's impressive. I mean, extremely impressive. Tornadoes in North Carolina? Yeah. Wow. I mean, we've all seen, like, a thunderstorm line come through. But when's the last time you guys seen these kinds of reds that amount? All up and down. Look at that. That's impressive. I'm sorry. That is. And it's just like I said earlier, guys. We have a second tornado season. Look it up. They'll tell you. It's down here in the south. But it's in November. Mark's in Connecticut, so I wonder if he's having issues. Is he still on? We can look real quick. Tell you what I'll do here real quick too. I will be going over here after this. Let me get to. Oh gosh, is he still on? Okay, yeah, he's still there. All right, he's still got power. But here is his link, guys. I'm going to be heading over there here in just a few minutes after we get off here, okay? If you guys want to come over and hang out in the chat with me, I'm going to be there. So please do that. Yeah, ain't good for sure. That's wow. Let's bring that back up for a minute. I want to. That's, man. Let's do this. You guys want to see some other, here's the radar. Oh my gosh. Man, you said you're in Jersey, Christine? Here's Jersey. Looks like you got yourself a squall line coming up in there. Let's go in here a little bit. Oh, you on null school? Yeah, I was going to go there in a second. Yeah, I'll go there in just a second, Scott. Thanks. I'm going to go in a little bit. That's her radar right now. You got this coming, girl. Right there. You better pay attention, okay? You're going to get a dead spot here for a minute, but it looks like you're going to get another one coming at you. I don't know where you're at in Jersey. If you're in North, you said you were in South Jersey, didn't you? Wow. That's what this is, guys. Yeah, this looks almost like a gust front that kind of spread out after it gusted. This is kind of probably the main show back here, I would think. I could be wrong, but let me do this. Let's go out a little bit. Let's okay, that gives us kind of a more broader view anyway. So yeah, I mean, as far as this is radar, guys, okay? What this is showing you is this is cloud tops. It doesn't necessarily mean it's intense. I know people think that it is. Yeah. Alright, let's, where's that? There's Scott's link. Let's go over here to Scott's link and check this out in null school. This will show you wind maps, probably. It's probably what he's showing you. Yep. Look at the wind here, guys. Wow. Look at these guys. Whoa. That's pretty crazy. Where's my key at? Scale, control, height, overlay, projection, wind. So, wow. Might have to go down, I think. Probably go down to the surface. Yeah, I don't have any of my things set up here. Sorry, guys. I got to set all this stuff up. This is the classic view. Wow. I mean, look at that onshore flow right there. Yeah, that's not good for Jersey, seeing that. That's what that happens is, guys, that's coming in off the ocean. When you get southerly winds like that in South Jersey, that's coming in strong. That's bad. That's bad news. What that does is it actually will draw moisture, and then when it gets up here in the cold, it will actually drop as snow if it gets cold enough, though. But what that is let's see here. Look at the ice sheet. Yeah. Wow. Whoa, look at that. Yeah, that's not... Man. me address something here too. I want to show you guys something. And Scott's here, and he can back me up on this. And I've actually heard a few other channel creators kind of correct some things here that were being said. Guys, the direction of what we see these storms rotate in the northern hemisphere. Okay, what you're going to see is low pressure. Okay, it rotates in towards the center, down towards the surface. Okay, so it's pulling in. So what that does is that will cause it to rotate counterclockwise. Low pressure in the northern hemisphere, counterclockwise. High pressure, the exact opposite. So, if you're looking at this map, can you tell me for 100% certain what pressure these are? You can't. Okay? So, if you're looking at this and you don't know that the high pressure and a low pressure spin different directions, you would sit here and say, oh my gosh, the storms are turning the wrong way. They're turning the wrong way. They're not. Okay? If you can put the low and high pressure on here, I ain't going to go to my... Maybe I can. Let's see. They're not spinning the wrong direction. They're spinning the right direction. I need to put the low. I have to go over here and look at. I don't mess with this enough, but I just want to say that because, man, my gosh, guys, I've heard that. When I heard that, I was like, oh my goodness, they're trying to tell people the storms are going the wrong way, and they're not. So, you know, that's... Yeah, I see you, Bobby. What's up, bud? You got a question, man? Yeah, for sure. Oh, you talking about Siri and Alexa? Yeah, it's another... Yeah, this is a good map right here, Scott. This is Jetstreams, guys. And, guys, you got to understand that this is not normal. Okay? Now, yes, we know that sometimes we get these big dips in the jet stream. Okay? That's when we get our big storms, usually. But to see them doing what they're doing right here, do you understand how far down south this is? This is an extremely far south for the jet stream. Just to be hanging out in the wintertime. Just saying. And then you go down here and look at the south. Look at this. I mean, that's just not what it should look like. Yeah, it is. Exactly, Scott. Which I'm sure that's why you wanted me to show it. Yeah, I see you, Bobby. I see you, bud. But this jet stream stuff, guys, I'm looking directly at the South Pole here. And when you see these jet streams, especially when they're... navigate this stupid thing. When you see them splitting like this, and then having another complete stream like this, they shouldn't do that. If you ain't first, you're last. Good one, Daz. Deals. Wow. A few weeks ago, I was not like that, Wages. What are you talking about? Oh, it was not like... Okay, I got you. Yeah, I know. That's what we're talking about it. Even at this, guys, I mean, when you're looking at this, remember that in the southern hemisphere right now, it's summer. So even then, the jet streams are still... Look how intense that is. That's intense. I'm sorry. That's really, really intense for that far south during this time of year. And if you look at this, oh my God. Wow. Now, let me ask you this. When's the last time... No, it ain't the end of the world, Michelle. We're good. When's the last time anybody ever looked at a jet stream map? And when you look at this, when's the last time you've seen a full circle not broken? Has anybody, I mean, really, somebody tell me, because I want to know. That definitely is not what it should look like. You about to fall out of your chair, really? I mean, look at that. I mean, yeah, it's the wind, it's the jet stream. Yeah, they're running at about 200 miles per hour, Scott is saying here, and he's right. But that ain't at the surface. Just understand that. What we're looking at here, we're looking at elevation. It's up higher in the atmosphere. But this is the jet stream. They call it the jet stream because that's where the jets go. The jets go up there and fly. Okay? They fly in these streams because they catch the wind and it helps them preserve their gas usage. But Scott, I don't know, man. I've never seen them like be completely connected this far south. I mean, if we look at this, we're down here, you know, Midwest. No, my God, that's the Gulf. Now, I understand that that's a dip, okay, guys? That's a deep dip, okay? And yes, that does happen sometimes. You know, when we get big storms, yes, we see this sometimes. But what we're talking about is the overall picture here is not normal. It's just not. That's a lot of wind. That's a lot of wind. It's a lot of brokenness. It's a lot of connected here. Now, if you look at this and then you compare it to the south, you see how we got like different storm systems, kind of like how it's broken, but it's still kind of the same what we're seeing. So, you know, oh my goodness. Usually we have like, well, you know, they call these things troughs, okay? And usually we'll have like a deep trough that dips down. And yes, you'll have like it's usually up here, is what I'm saying. It's usually not down this far south. And we'll have little breaks, little troughs that dip down out off of this jet stream. We shouldn't have 3 or 4 separate jet streams at all times. We shouldn't have one big one that is that far south. Sorry. It just shouldn't be like that. So take that for what it's worth. I don't know, guys, but that's a lot of funky looking jet streams. That's far south, guys. That really is. That's really surprising. Just to be honest. I mean, look at the winds just blasting through here. But I do want to hammer home the point that, you know, when somebody tells you that the storms are rotating the wrong direction, you need to tell them to turn their high and low pressure on their map that they're using. It is, isn't it, Ricky? It's a flat-out freaking mess. Ain't no other way to say it. Good way to put it. But let me tell you something. Yeah, tell them to put their high and low pressure on before they tell you it's spinning the wrong way. And there's reasons, I mean, we could talk about Coriolis effect and all those kinds of things there too, but without even going into that, you have to understand that a high and a low pressure will spin the opposite direction. So don't tell people that things are spinning the wrong direction if you don't understand that a high and low pressure spin opposite. One spins towards the surface, one spins away, up, out. That's why they spin the opposite way. So that's what I would say. Northern hemisphere, low pressure, counterclockwise. Southern hemisphere, low pressure, clockwise. So that's what I would say. Alright guys, listen, I want everybody here to have a great Christmas. I want you guys just to, sit back, enjoy it. Don't worry about all this nonsense we talk about here, okay? Just know that this is where I'm going. After I get off here, I'm going to hang out here for a while with Mark and everybody. He may be getting ready to get off here. He's got kids, guys, so I don't know. I'm sure if he's getting off or not. Let's hear.
What are you making for dinner? Oh, that's right, you don't cook. I forgot.
He's probably not getting off. I know him. Anyway, but I'm going to go over here and hang out for a while. Follow me over here, guys. Everybody have a great Christmas. Scott, you have a great one. Hilly, Christine, everybody here. George, God bless. Love you all. Have a great one. Don't ever forget. God bless you. Yahusha saves. And you can drink.